Hello, fermented folks and Meathead Media fans. Welcome to our first episode of Meathead Media's podcast, which is entirely based on our Substack articles that hopefully all of you who join, which is 0 people so far, have read. But we're going to get an audience, and even if we don't, we just love vibing together here. My name is Travis Vermolem. Over here to my right on the screen, I guess, yeah, that's my right hand, is Zeb. And down below is Kent. Zeb, Kent, how are you guys doing today? Maybe tell the people about you a little.
Go for it, Kent. You first.
Yeah. Happy to be here in Milwaukee with Zeb. And going to school, having some fun, working, usual. Nothing too crazy. How about you, Zeb?
Same old, same old. I'm a grad student at Marquette studying exercise science and working on my doctorate. So I'm trying to really fully encompass the meathead side of this.
Mm-hmm.
And the 3 of us collectively make Meathead Media. Again, for anyone curious, we are a Substack and now podcast. We basically just talk about movies. Sometimes I will throw in a book. Have either of you thrown in a book yet?
No.
Zeb's done a style of documentaries in general, which was outside the box a little. So, but for the most part, we review movies and kind of talk about them through a lot of different lenses, oftentimes philosophical. And today we're going to be reviewing each other's articles and just talking about what we saw is really beautiful things about them, maybe what we really liked about the movies that were written about, all that jazz. Hopefully you have fun. And at the end, we'll wrap it up by telling you what we're looking forward to and currently watching. So without further ado, Zeb, I am very excited to talk about our first article. Our theme for January was turning the page. And Zeb kicked us off with one of my personal favorite movies of the year, 2025 being the year, Marty Supreme, a Josh Safdie film starring Timothy Chalamet. And the title of your article was Turning the Page, Marty is Not That Supreme, which gave me a bit of a jump scare because I was like, did he hate this movie? Tell us what was behind the title, Marty is Not That Supreme.
Oh, okay. I think we should differentiate my opinion on the character versus my opinion on the film. That's where the title came from. Also, it was just really for the taking, just clickbaity. Like, could not resist getting jump scares out of people. I have had 2 people come up to me that I know in person who have come up and gone, dude, what do you didn't like Marty Supreme? And I went, you didn't read the full article, did you? And then they go, oh. I'm like, no, first sentence, gotcha. But yeah, let's not conflate my opinion of Marty with my opinion of the actual film. That sweaty New York wet rat that they call Timothy Chalamet did one extra job.
Those wet cigarette boys, they're all the rage right now. And yeah, I think let's jump in there. I have a lot of things I would love to talk about with Marty Supreme, but you liked this movie, I think, for a lot of the same reasons I did. One of which is sort of the ambiguous ending. So I want to start at the end, right? Okay. We're gonna spoil everything on the show, people. If you haven't seen Marty Supreme, go watch it. Go read the Substack article, then come back and watch this video. That's the sequence of events. It's like the MCU up here. Okay, you got to watch 3 things before you can watch the thing. I love the ambiguous ending. I think it can be interpreted 2 different ways. I 100% interpret it as Marty is going to be a terrible father, but I don't know. What did you think was really good about how that ending was led to and sort of the life of Marty Supreme?
Yeah, I think just sheer irony. Like, I spent the whole movie thinking, okay, there's got to be a redemption arc, right? There's got to be some kind of Rocky IV style redemption where he finds out the true meaning of like working hard and actually breaking his back for a living, and then he does go and beat the world champion on the championship stage. But then for the crowning moment of his ping pong career to beat his rival in a farce match in like unregulated conditions, and that be like the crowning achievement of his life, I think was just screaming mediocrity. And that's what made it so poignant, that the ending of just having a kid was like the greatest thing that had ever happened to him, because in reality, his sporting career wasn't actually that good. Like he wasn't as successful as he thought he was. And the movie did a really funny bait and switch on us where they led up to like, okay, this is it. He's so successful. But then when you think about it, he's really actually just kind of,
Mm-hmm.
you know? And so that's why I really thought that the ending left a lot open because he could go one of two ways. He could keep being a dirty, wet rat and a shyster and keep trying to work his way up to the top. Just he got to get the next big break. Or this could be the moment where he realizes this was all pointless. Now I'm just going to be a father. My money's on the former, not the latter.
Kent, you looked like you wanted to jump in there.
I'm mostly agreeing, and also I'm sure you noticed earlier I could not stop chuckling to myself because Zeb in the gym, we were talking about the article, and this man could not stop this rat bastard, fucking rat bastard, Timothy Shallot. It was awesome, but yeah, no, I absolutely agree. I do like the ambiguous ending, and I think a lot of great movies handle that ending well, and Marty Supreme definitely handled it well. And just like how we're talking about it, yeah, there's a couple few plausible outcomes that it could take, and I like that. Yeah, there's probably a wholesome moment within that, whether that is that he likes being a father or just being shoved into the position. It gets him out of that scheming situation. I don't know, but all in all, I thought it was awesome.
I'm glad you brought up wholesome, because I think the length of this movie makes us forget the actual chronological timeline of the movie itself. That kid is born a week after he leaves Rachel on the steps of her apartment building and is like, yeah, this is your problem. Peace. You're not, you don't contribute anything to my success. Catch you on the flip side.
Yeah.
A week. Nobody changes that fast, even if they get spanked by a dirty old businessman.
I think what I was reminded of by this movie, and I hope this doesn't sound too harsh, is like the small town, like hometown hero athlete. Like, and Marty is clearly, more dedicated to the sport than that. It's like a mix of that guy and like how much of a psychopath Michael Jordan seemed to be in the Last Dance, because that guy's like so focused on success in that documentary. But sort of mixing the two personalities, because what I can see for the future of Marty is like he will be the guy that's at the bar and someone's watching ping pong for some reason and they're like talking about the Japanese champion and he's like, oh, I beat that guy, and everyone's like, sure you did. Like, and he has no way to prove this like monumental thing he did, so it's all just in his head. And I can just see that in the future of his life, like tearing him apart, kind of like, I never actually did prove myself to anyone but myself. And I don't think that's satisfactory for like a narcissist like him. He has to have the recognition from the outside world, which is why I think the fatherhood thing won't work out, because like, I think to be a good father, I'm not one, obviously, but I know a lot and I had a great dad.
Wait, you're not a good father, or you're not a father?
I'm not a father. But I know a lot of fathers and I had a great dad. And it seems like an entirely like selfish thing. Like, you have to be able to let all of your success be interior, and any exterior success is like someone else's, and you have to just be and I can't see Marty ever doing that. Being able to be like, yeah, my kid made it, so I'm happy.
Yeah.
Like, no,
it would require a little bit of sacrifice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he seems like the guy by 50, he's got a Corvette and he's really trying to fight for those weekends.
Yeah, it was like his fourth wife. But speaking of, the one thing I also want to talk about is you really wrote about ambition, and this movie is definitely about. Can you speak a little to that?
Yeah. So what I think was really cool about this movie was that they showed us the many different faces of what it means to be ambitious. So we have Marty, who's willing to like crawl his way out of the sewers, being the wet rat that he is. I can't resist. We have Marty, who's crawling his way up to the top. Very ambitious, willing to sacrifice a lot to get there. Then we have Kevin O'Leary's character, which I thought was fantastic because that's a real life billionaire. That character is just Marty if Marty would have made it, right? That's Marty who has like probably killed somebody for the sake of business, for the sake of $1 billion deal, right? He was willing to do some very questionable things and did some even more questionable things just to sell pens. Pens, right? He's not an oil baron. He's selling pens. Okay. And then we have Kevin O'Leary's wife.
Gwyneth Paltrow.
Thank you. I always forget her name. Gwyneth Paltrow, who is kind of like not even secretly stealing from her husband just to fund her performance so that she can feel like an actress again. And so we see this ambition all mixed throughout, but for some reason we feel more okay with like Kevin O'Leary's character because he's a billionaire and he actually has external success that proves that his ambition was worth something. So like his ends justified his means. And then Gwyneth Paltrow, not as successful because her play flops. And then we have Marty, who he does such a good job convincing us not to like him the whole time. And his ambition seems relentless and almost misplaced across everybody.
Yeah. It's a big compensation.
So,
yeah, I like that you touch on that too. I didn't even think about it that way of like Kevin O'Leary his character almost never crosses your mind as like as despicable because he's made it.
Yeah.
And so it's like, oh yeah, he's the villain, but really Marty's the villain. It's more man versus himself. And this guy's just there, and Marty's actually like trying to take advantage of him. But really it's like he probably also clawed his way to the top. And man, like that's just goes to show the Safdie brothers are so good at this like train wreck style that they do. Because Uncut Gems was the same, where you're just uncomfortable, but like thrilled. It's like you are paying like $10 to have anxiety for 2 hours. And it's like entertaining. It's such a weird thing they do, and they do it better than anyone. And I love that they implement like everyday celebrities into their movies, because in Uncut Gems it was the basketball player.
I didn't see the movie.
It wasn't Kevin Durant. It was shoot. I feel like it was a Kevin, but I can't remember. I'll look it up on IMDb.
It might have been KD. I think it may have. I know who you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe who was big on the Knicks around that time? Because it's set in New York, right? Manhattan.
Yeah, it's definitely it's set in New York.
I'll figure it out. Oh hi.
Yeah. No. KG.
Kevin Garnett. Yeah.
There it is.
So like Kevin O'Leary's in this one. Kevin Garnett was in their last one. And this, for people who don't know, is actually one of the first projects where they've split. So the Safdie brothers for a while, for most of their career, made movies together. This was Josh's, I think, second foray by himself. And in the same year, Benny made the Rock's new movie. The Smashing Machine. So they kind of went head to head this year. And I will say, I think Josh, success-wise and box office-wise, undisputably came out on top. I haven't seen The Smashing Machine yet, but I've heard it's pretty solid.
I just watched it. We'll talk about it later.
We'll talk about it later. But
Talk
yeah,
about
that was
in the Meathead section of this, because
all right.
if there's a Meathead movie, baby, it's that one.
All right. That's Benny. That's Benny's movie without his brother. So
Interesting. Do they plan to come back together at any point, or is that just kaput? They're done.
I don't know.
Up?
I don't know, because it's also interesting that Benny is he's done more acting, because he was in, I just watched Paul Thomas Anderson, Licorice Pizza. And he's in that. He plays the mayoral candidate that what's her name works for the main character. She works for his like office for a bit, and he's the one that like turns out to be gay, and he's like hiding it. Yeah, that's Benny Safdie, and he's been in a couple. He's going to be in the Odyssey. He's playing Agamemnon.
Okay.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
So I think that was part of their breakup. Is like Benny wanted to make movies, but he also wanted to get more acting gigs, and Josh is fully like, I want to be a director. So
cool
stuff.
Okay.
Very cool. Yeah, this Marty Supreme had a stacked cast, by the way. Tyler, the Creator, the magician Penn Jillette, Kevin O'Leary, and then some like serious throwbacks. Abel Ferrara, who was in Kings of New York. It's like a gritty.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, gritty gang movie.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. Wow.
Was he like? Was he the older guy?
He was the gangster. He was the yeah. He just stabbed a guy just for fun.
Can we talk about that? That shootout came out of nowhere. Like I loved it, but when I'm like, this is a ping pong movie. Like, this is not a ping pong movie.
No.
Oh yeah. And I will say he specifically Timothée Chalamet had the best freaking ad campaign I've ever seen for that movie. Everything from him, like masquerading those ping pong companions, if you will, just around him with Supreme and like Chrome Hearts, Tim's. Like, oh my God, that was awesome. Didn't put it on any TV, nothing. He's like, I'm just going to show up and people will film me and it'll blow up. So yeah. I don't know. I think he's here to stay for quite a while, especially after this. I mean, Dune 2 and just seeing his intellect with that. He's a great dude. I'm excited to see what he does next.
Yeah, he's talented. Very talented. He was one of those ones. I don't know if you guys have had this before, though, like actors where you almost resist admitting their talent until like finally there's always a movie that like, and I think Dune 2 was the one where I'm like, okay, he's awesome. But for a while there, I was like, I don't know. He seems overhyped.
You didn't like him in the King?
I did, but I think I just didn't really register.
Gotcha.
File that away as one of his. Another one recently that's been like that for me is Nicholas Hoult, who's been great forever. Like he was in About a Boy as like a little boy, and he was in he Beast in X-Men. He was very good, but forever he was just like, oh yeah, he's okay, and he's okay. And then Nosferatu, I was like, oh, this guy's more than okay. Like, and then I went back and watched some stuff and was like, what was I? I'm an idiot. Like Nicholas Hoult has always been awesome. But I don't know. Do you have any actors like that you guys have seen?
That's a good. I'm gonna say yes. This might be too common, but I grew up watching Matthew McConaughey as a non-serious actor, and then all of a sudden I saw the movie Mud and Lincoln Lawyer, and I went, "Oh, this dude's got chops. Mm-hmm. This is fun." Yeah, that's
a good one.
Yeah, I have a similar opinion on Ryan Reynolds, where he didn't get that serious, but he got serious enough in other roles that, sure, he wasn't the best, but the switch up and how popular he became utilizing part of that comedy, even though he was just only recognized for that. Like, I'm spacing on the movie, but the one where he is the diner, gosh, I'm trying to remember the name.
Waiting.
I believe so. I
Yeah.
believe so. And then
There's-
Van Wilder, of course.
Yeah.
I mean, and then he pulls out Deadpool. Like,
Mhm.
that's still a very sound movie, even though it's total humor and gotcha moments and very easy plot turns and twists. I don't know. He impressed me.
Yeah. I'm still not sold on him. Other than, have you watched Buried? I've never found anyone else who's watched that movie. It's literally Ryan Reynolds in a coffin for 90 minutes. And it just sounds so bad. Like every time I'm like, that's the premise.
That's
People are like,
wild.
that sounds so dumb. It's pretty damn compelling. And he does a good job. He's like if I remember right, I think he's like a soldier or he was a intelligence agent or something. And like they bury him in Afghanistan and he's like on the phone and he has service because he's not buried very deep. And he's like talking the whole time, but his phone dies and he's like talking to himself. And then a snake gets in there. It's like, it's a wild movie. And I would suggest checking it out. It's called Buried.
Wow.
And it never leaves the coffin.
Check that out.
Yeah. Like the whole movie's in the coffin. It's crazy. But,
That's nuts.
It is nuts. Yeah. We're floating a little far away here from Marty Supreme. I don't want to take too much away from that, Zeb, because if there's anything else you kind of are dying to talk about with it. It's a great article. Hey.
Oh, sorry.
Live.
The Instagram isn't live on Instagram. I was trying to see where it might be.
Okay.
And it cycled over.
All right.
Yeah, I got nothing else for this article. Glad you enjoyed it. It was a great movie. Definitely recommend it for people to watch, especially because it did get a couple nominations, right?
It did. Let me look real quick while we transition over.
I think Timothée Chalamet definitely got a nod for Best Actor, but I don't know if the movie got anything else.
Let's see. Marty Supreme nominated for 9 Oscars.
Sweet.
Timothée Chalamet makes history. How? He's definitely not the youngest. They've literally nominated like a child before. So
yeah, I was gonna say.
I wonder how he made history.
Yeah.
Huh.
Chalamet earns his 3rd Academy Award nomination in the Best Actor category. Previously nominated for Call Me by Your Name and The Complete Unknown. He's now the youngest male actor to score 3 acting nominations since Marlon Brando. So that's how he did it.
Makes sense.
Very cool. All right. Sweet. Even more reason to go see it before the Oscar buzz.
Oh, dude. It is nominated for Best Cinematography and... Oh no, that's good. That's a hard category this year because it's coming up against Frankenstein, One Battle After Another, Sinners, and Train Dreams. So,
yeah, that's a
for Best Cinematography is going to be nuts.
Yeah, that's a bad year to be nominated for Best Cinematography. Any of them could win, and I'd be happy. Any of them.
But can you imagine the crew who does and be like, "Yeah, I won over all of these."
Yeah, I was in the heavyweight boxing division and I knocked everyone out.
Like that's Mike Tyson.
Yes. Whoever wins this year is the Mike Tyson of cinematographers.
Just right in your face.
Cool. All right.
Actually, before we transition, I want to hear what's your prediction there.
Oh, for Best Cinematography.
And why? Yeah.
Oh,
we have Marty Supreme, Frankenstein, One Battle After Another, Sinners, and Train Dreams.
I mean,
I'll just start. I think it's gonna be Sinners for the barn scene.
Yeah.
This might be a long shot, but I think it should actually go to Train Dreams.
Okay.
Train
I
Dream
think that
was
sorry, go
gorgeous.
ahead.
It was just gorgeously shot. The long
Yeah.
landscape shots and the whatever the style of shot is, where it goes from eye level to sky level, and you like you're looking upwards. Man, they just had some wonderful shots in there.
A lot more subtle. And I'm with you. I like that more, but I think you're right, it's a long shot. I can't see the Academy going for it. I'd be very happy if they did. Kent?
I agree with you, Seb. It'd be super cool. Total underdog. I really hope, really hope it's Frankenstein. I know I'm biased. I wrote the article on it, but
there's beautiful shots in Frankenstein.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think the area it excels in that not a lot of people recognize, where I did a ton of photography in high school and I still dabble here and there. And the more I did it, I found I was spending way more time researching and setting up the shots than taking them. And Frankenstein, in a way, has the most beautiful prep for all the shots because it's all real outside of a couple standalone shots where I think CGI is utilized in small like post after effects. And ultimately a couple shots where like when Victor Frankenstein's climbing to the top of the spire, the lightning rod, the actual exterior of the mountain range, everything that's CGI, but the total lightning rod itself is real. Like he was on a harness actually scaling it, if I'm correct. I remember seeing that somewhere, or at least seeing this Coliseum just standing with green screen and all the freaking body parts, like the guy lying down and like downward dog or wherever that was with his ribs kind of like blood eagle exposed. That's all legit practical effects. And I know it's a separate category stating it as practical effects and FX, but in my opinion, I think that also is a factor when deciding good cinematography and just framing a shot and dialogue, because only so many shows and movies do that well, where like Letterkenny is a phenomenal example where it's just plot. Everything else is like C-list, not great, but the plot's great enough to get you through it. And I love it, but there's nothing to praise about the cinematography. And in that same breath, if let's say they were to stage it up a little bit, maybe make some practical effects, add some stuff, might go, that was a fun visual movie. So the setup also accounts for that. So I think because they were so driven in their FX, I think it deserves a nod this year.
I definitely think, though, you're right, Frankenstein could win it easily, but like Marty Supreme had the chase scene through the city with like the shirt.
It's gonna win it.
Off and like, the ping pong scenes were phenomenal. One battle after another, though. This is what I think is anyone's game, because that car chase scene, we're gonna get to that because you wrote an article about it. But the like rolling hills and the camera sweeping down at the wheel level, is it like, and you see the car poke up, like that was gold. And then Train Dreams has its like sweeping landscape shots, and yeah, man, anyone's game for cinematography this year. Heavyweights. All right, maybe went a little longer on that than I want, but I love it.
We're having fun.
It's relevant.
Soft pitch to you.
Heck yeah, absolutely. Speaking of running on the edge, Travis, I'd love to ask you about Edge of 17 and your article. I know we all read it, but in general, I guess your favorite aspects when writing it. Like, what would you say your favorite paragraph from your article is, or what would you enjoy most writing about it?
Very good question. I came up with this one to write about because I really wanted to write about Darian. I think he's a really good character. And at the end of my sort of second section there, a protagonist who loves to mess up. I kind of quote him and I talk about how he's, I think, counter to a lot of the stereotypical like brother figures in these coming of age stories. Because usually you'll get the brother who either, what I'm used to seeing is either the brother is a dick the whole time, like never redeemed. Maybe he like gets embarrassed at the end of the movie and as a laugh, or you get like the brother is redeemed at the end by admitting that he was wrong the whole time. And I love that this movie, it like slowly shows you nuggets of the brother being like just as affected by the tragedy of their family, just as messed up in a different way, relied on way too heavily by his mom. And like, he finally has this breakdown where he's like, I'm just going to read his lines that I wrote.
Yeah.
Because I think it's such a good quote.
It is.
He says, he like finally confronts his sister and he says, "You're right about everything. I'm only here for me and my life is fucking incredible. I love it. I love spending another night talking mom off the ledge. I love only applying to schools nearby because who knows what'll happen in the house if I'm not around to fix it. And I love that the one person who makes me feel like I can take an effing breath I can't have without completely destroying you. So you're right. It's a blast. I win." I think that's like such a gut punching line, and it really makes the main character, I'm so bad with names. I wrote today an article. Nadine, like face her own self-obsession that's like driven her through this whole movie of like, and that's a teenager. Like that's another thing I love about this movie is teenagers are like they are the center of their own world, and they're supposed to be. That's the age. It's not it's not like a defaming them. It's odd when a teenager is like very empathetic. That's not a normal teenager behavior. That's a strange teenager. Because usually they're very like, I have to focus on like everything is about me and everything is like dialed up to 1,000. Like that's just what happens when our hormones are like raging inside of our bodies. So yeah, those were my two favorite aspects.
Travis, I think you should give the people some context as to what qualifies you as a particular expert on teens.
I'm a middle school teacher.
Please tell the people.
Yeah, I teach middle school.
Yeah.
I teach middle through sophomore year. So
yeah, if somebody understands what this old curmudgeon-y Woody Harrelson feels like in this movie, it's poor Travis.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how you do it, man. I think I would last maybe 2 minutes. I'd throw a book at a wall and I'd walk out. Like, that's it. I'm out of here.
It's a great job.
I mean, but it is Montana, so throwing a book at a wall, I don't think would get you in as much trouble as you think.
Yeah, it depends on the school.
Right. Depends on the book too.
Depends on the book too. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, Travis, you also, I mean, I think this was really well written. But you only gave the movie 3.5 out of 5.
Yeah, it's flawed. I think it's a little choppy in its story beats. It's also at times very generic. Like you've probably seen this coming of age film in certain sequences look exactly like a lot of movies you've seen, which can be a benefit, but I think in this case is a bit of a detriment. And then I just can't get past, I think I wrote in my article, the amount of FERPA violations. Like Woody Harrelson is such a great teacher in this, but my head is screaming when I'm like, you just picked up a teenage girl from a park at night in your personal vehicle and drove her to your house. I don't care if you have a wife and a baby. I know your intentions are good. You would be fired like immediately. Like that is so not kosher. So there's like a level to where that kind of painted the movie in a weird way to me because the realism is gone. Because I'm like, I love Woody Harrelson's character, but there's no way he'd still be a teacher. Even the lunches when she's like eating in his classroom, just them. It happens, and there is a window, so it wouldn't be as bad. But there'd be other teachers that are like, hey, you seem a little close to that one female student. What's that about? Like it'd be a lot more suspicious than they make it out to be in the film. So that was a little realism got erased for me.
Yeah. To quote the Police, one of their hit songs, "Don't Stand So Close to Me."
Yeah.
Yeah. I was a big fan of this movie. So I really agreed with a lot of what you said. But I didn't see this movie as a teenager. I saw it as more of a college-aged kid. And I come from a world of an all-boys boarding school, high school. So none of this stuff made sense to me. It was nothing I could ever relate to, except from stories. My knowledge of high school co-ed comes exclusively from film and TV. So to me, I didn't pick up on the missed beats and the FERPA violations, because I'm I guess this is just what happens in public school. Everybody's just hanging out, I guess. You had your one favorite teacher. My teachers lived on campus.
Yeah.
Different world.
Very different world.
Yeah. Yeah, no, in response to you, Zeb, and also Travis, because I do want to touch on what you said initially, where I really like how you highlight that this is all vulnerability within each character that they're being forced into, whether they like it or not. And it's moments like this that cultivate that growing, that maturing to the point that you can become empathetic, where I think this movie shows a very realistic tone and example of what it looks like to lose somebody and then continue on. Because most movies, they'll use it for plot points, but the timeline's really quick. There's very few movies that will really explore that depth, where let's say Manchester by the Sea really explores loss at an extended time frame. And I think Edge of 17, like you say, it does a phenomenal job at depicting that realism. So I really like that you said that, because to transfer over to you, Zeb, I going to both public and private, both co-ed, everything for the viewers, everything from I went to a all boys military Catholic school for half of high school. The other half was at a non-denominational Christian school that was co-ed. And then I just went to a public middle school, and everything within it's very realistic, where without droning on too long here, I found that statement that you also read, Travis, to be very enlightening. Of course, a gut punch, but shoot, it was, to me, kind of hilarious, the sarcasm. That is such a sibling thing to do. So another nod to realism there of no, I'm not going to have and tell you this like I'm telling anyone else, or in a very practical, straightforward way. It's very much so this, well, I'm still going to tease you, even though I'm expressing my
Congratulations, you win.
Yeah,
you're right.
You win, jerk. Yeah. I'm out of here. Thanks, Kevin.
That is so good. And I think it points to, I really like the relationship between Nadine and again, bad with names. I'm looking for it now. Her boyfriend at the end.
What's his name? He was such a nice guy.
Yeah, I lost it. Erwin. Because it's so awkward. And that's not even just teenagers, in my opinion. That's every new relationship. You have these periods where you're just I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna try and say this thing and hope that it's funny. Oh, they didn't laugh. Well, I guess I'm still here. And if you want to be there enough, you work through it. I love the pool scene where he has this moment of truly being upset, and he starts to swim away, and you see it in his face, and the actor does a good job of portraying he's actually mad that she came here, got into a swimming pool in a bikini, and then all of a sudden was do you want to have sex? And then is I'm just kidding. And he's like, you can't do that, and swims away. But then he like quickly adjusts, makes fun of her. They both move on, and then it shows like clips of them like actually having fun. And I'm like, that literally is the start of a lot of relationships where you're just like blundering through dumb mistakes, but you like the person enough that you're like, I'm still gonna try, and I'm gonna work through the awkwardness, and then it stops being awkward for a while. I loved it.
Dude, I've been married for 2 years. I'm still awkward.
Same. Like I'm still 1 year. I'm still blundering through some stupid things,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, to be young.
Want to fall.
I absolutely look. If you gave me a choice, do you want to go back to being 16, knowing all that you know now? I wouldn't go back.
I wouldn't either. No, definitely not.
Rose-colored glasses are smashed.
Smashed. So I'm the only one here that went strictly to public school.
Yeah, man.
All right.
I did public middle school, so like a lot of this stuff was similar, but like there were certain things that were happening in high school that were not happening in middle school. So it definitely changed the dynamic a lot.
I had no option. There was one school in my hometown. You went to that school or you were homeschooled. That was it.
God bless the High Line, baby.
Yeah.
God bless the High Line.
Oh yeah. Well, at that point, I wouldn't even consider it as traditional as other public schools are, where they have their counterparts in private. I mean,
yeah,
shoot, it's like it's small town at that point, where you got that's a whole nother ball game.
I mean, I could have went to Shelby 20 miles down the road and been a coyote, but I think my dad might have killed me. So.
Oh, okay.
So
yeah,
that was
coyote.
the other closest school. Cool. I hope I didn't hog the mic on my own interview there. Anything else?
No, we're right down the middle. I think we stopped at like 25 for the first one. We're at 42, so we're chopping along.
Well, fellas, I'm sure we have to go to the restroom. Our currently non-existent audience has to go to the restroom, but when they watch this video,
they might.
Later, they might. So we're gonna throw in a 2-minute break here. Refill your beers, empty the other thing, and we'll see you back here in 2 minutes. Just turn your cameras and your mics off, and I'll click this timer.
Cool. Oh, come on. Why? Come on.
I'll wait for you, Kent, so you're not alone.
Why don't you want to stop? How? I might
down at the bottom. It's down at the bottom.
Right. Is it just
we're live? Hey, there he is. Hey, we'll be back, people. All right, we are back to Meathead Media, Episode 1, Season 1, our inaugural season. Zeb and Kent are going to be making their ways back, and we'll jump right into it. I think Zeb is leading us into our next article, which was written by Kent and was about what movie, Zeb?
Good Will Hunting, baby.
Oh, yeah.
Heck yeah.
All right. So, Kent, we might spend a lot of time on this one because I think you and I both really like this movie.
I've heard that. I used to watch it every year.
This movie is in my top 5. I don't know about you. And I think we need to just go right into the heart of the movie, which is, what is it like to be a man?
Ooh.
And with that, I think you should give us like a brief synopsis, just very brief, of what you saw as good old Will's arc here in this film, because that's going to lead us into the different avenues that we're going to touch on.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, to kind of give like almost a plot teaser and kind of the back of the cover of the book. I'm trying to find the right word outside of toxic masculinity, because I feel like that's overused.
Misguided.
Right. Because it's Will's behavior isn't toxic because he, in the best way possible, he's a scared pit bull that he had his own trauma, whatever that might be. How he interpreted said trauma, he begins to act out in his own ways, but there's also this security around his environment where even though he's punching dudes and going to jail, he doesn't seem that rocked by it. But then once he starts going to therapy, he starts leaving his confines, his both physical and personal boundaries. He begins to grow, and through that growth, he's then recognized for what he can produce. And I think that ultimately, Zeb, to answer your question, is one of the weirdest things for me about being a man, a traditional man, if you will, of, okay, hey, yeah, you're expected to provide. And as a kid, not in that I didn't want to do this stuff, but it was very much so like, hey, when your partner's 50-50, sure, right? It's in current society, I feel like there's definitely an impression it leaves on you that, well, I'm big, I'm strong, I'm going to do it all, I'm going to do everything. And you're expected to provide. So once Will begins to provide, I think that's when the story really gets interesting. And that's when he starts to find himself, whether it's through literature, whether it's through math, whether it's through therapy, whether it's through love, he finds a way to experience his environment in a new way, and it scares the hell out of him. So he barks back. And finally, at the end, he gives in. He finally accepts that, hey, maybe this might be a little maladaptive. Maybe Mr. Robin Williams might be on to something here. So
gives in to what?
Not being afraid anymore. To that fear.
Giving into vulnerability.
Yes, absolutely. That's a great way to put it.
Okay, because that's something that in your last paragraph of the article, you really well like tied back in, is that Will spends the majority of the movie being a tough guy.
Right.
He does everything in his power to be tough. He lies about having brothers to make it seem like he's normal and tough to Skylar. He doesn't want her to ever sleep over because then she'll realize that he's actually kind of a bum. And that would defeat the whole tough guy attitude. That's why he rips that guy apart in the bar. Everything for him is a farce. It's a portrayal. It's a facade of what's underneath, and that's what Robin Williams, uncovers. He mines out so beautifully in Will's psyche. Is like, dude, you can stop being tough. The scene that really set that chain of events off was the bench press scene. You remember it where they're like, yeah, you lift? Yeah. Free weights? Yeah. How much you bench? 220. You? 275. And they're posturing, but Will doesn't know that they're playing mind games until the next session when he sits and just counts the seconds for 60 seconds. He's playing all these angles of he never lets anybody get the better of him. And I love that about the movie, because that is a very, very real fear that so many of us, I think, share today. And that's why this movie resonates, is like, we are so terrified of being better of us, and we actually don't let anyone in. And that's where the relationship dynamic between his friends and Skylar is so poignant, that Robin Williams brings up, is like, dude, he'd lay down in traffic for his friends. That doesn't mean anything. Like, they're his boys, but what would he do for Skylar? So, sorry for the tangent.
Absolutely not. I mean, I think that is a wonderful segue too for what I was even thinking about adding additionally as you were talking, where I love that you mentioned Sean's performance, Robin Williams' performance, where it is very tactful. And I think ultimately that was, like you said, the catalyst that brought Will out of his shell and allowed him to interact with his environment in a new way, to then eventually leave and fly the coop and choose love, choose education, choose freedom. Because not only was he in the beginning of the movie chaining himself down, like, oh, I'm going to do construction, I don't care, it's honorable, it's tough, it's the whole like lineman attitude of, well, I don't give a hell, or just construction in general, I don't give a hell, I'll throw these sandbags over here over and over throughout the day, even though I'm 50 with a slip disc, because I'm a man. The children yearn for the mines.
I'm glad you brought that up, because while I agree with you that Robin Williams was the person that set off this chain of events, I think the best scene in the movie, and what really kicks Will out of New England, is his buddy saying, "No, fuck you. Yeah. Don't do this for you. Do it for me. You're sitting on a winning lottery ticket, and you don't have the nuts to cash it in."
God, Ben Affleck was so good in that.
I'm going to still be here in 50 years smashing brick.
Mm-hmm. And if I see you, I'll be pissed.
And if I see you here, I'll kill you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Right. Because at the end of the day, what Will, in my opinion, truly learns through that vulnerability is emotional intelligence, and how that can't necessarily, I mean, to a degree, in my opinion, could be inherently given to someone. But Travis, as you mentioned, kids aren't empathetic in high school. They're
naturally.
Right. Naturally. And it's unique events to give them that ability to ponder on it. And it's usually through a life event that produces vulnerability. So yeah. I think it's a great movie to show how difficult to really just marinate in that vulnerability and really sit in it, because everything was changed for him. I mean, he went from working construction and working as a janitor to communicating with some of the most fortified and wealthy and industry leaders of that time. I mean, you want to talk about a 180, you want to talk about posturing in those rooms. And we're not talking about weights, we're talking about defense contracts. I mean, oh my goodness, that would rattle the hell out of anyone. And it's such a great metamorphosis for him. And I think, like Zeb said, it's a story of male vulnerability and male mental health. It's really unique, even rather especially for when it was released.
Yeah,
I think it's a story about a couple things because, like, yeah, I definitely agree with you guys that it's and I agreed with your article, Kent, that it's about emotional intelligence. It's about a man who's, had stunted growth, and another more modern term phenomenon is extended adolescence that's happening to a lot of people these days. But one of the parts I focus on is
Arrested Development.
the difference between sort of wisdom and knowledge. And that's like a big focus I have. I'm at a classical school, and our whole thing is, learning like the Greeks did, and they were more focused on imitation, constant testing, and not testing in the sense of like we're taking tests, testing in like you're going to create a work and we're going to keep revising it until it's perfect. And there's a relationship there always because there's the reviser and the writer. And so I think there's a lot of that here where every posturing moment that Will has is just purely knowledge. And he's just really good at like beating it in repetition to where people get like overloaded. Like the grad student is like, I've read this book, and he's like, I've read that book and this book and this book and this book. What are you going to say about that? Boom. And the grad student's like, he's overloaded. He's like, he gets put on his back foot. And I've been there on both sides, where I've been the a-hole who just like beats people with like citations. And I've been the guy that wasn't ready. Who like comes to a conversation is like, I think this, and someone's like, well, you haven't read these 7 theologians, you idiot. And I'm like,
who
but
do you know
like,
here?
there's something so much more beautiful about what Robin Williams brings him to, which is wisdom, in that like you have to be able to see the person behind the knowledge in front of you and be like, can you tell me what you think? Like, can you articulate to me your thought? And I'm not gonna like browbeat you with 60 citations. I want to know and make sure that I understand what you're trying to tell me. And I think that's what Williams kind of character Sean gets him to, is like, you can have all the knowledge in the world. The park bench scene is my favorite scene. Great. All the knowledge in the world, if you haven't actually experienced relationship, it doesn't mean anything. Like we are relational beings. Human beings are, men and women alike. We have to share. That's like our whole thing. And I think you're right that men can steep deeply into this hermit mentality and almost get away with it more because it's like, yeah, I'm a tough man. I'm just gonna go build a cabin in the woods and
strong and silent type.
And it's like, and we somehow accept that a lot more when it's like, yeah, there's a time where that might become necessary and like you have to keep your family and yourself safe. But in like a peaceable time, you really should be striving to get out there and be in community and know people and sit down and have conversations and not just browbeat with knowledge, but be like, hey, what are you talking about? I think that's the most beautiful thing about learning. And that's what I try and do with my students is like, I'm not here to just open your brain cavity and pour a pitcher of stuff in. I'm here to be like, what do you get and what don't you get? We'll see if I get it. If I don't get it, I'm going to go learn it for you, come back and see if you can get it. Like, and we're going to build this thing together. And hopefully by senior year, the goal of any teacher should be by senior year, I can just be like, I have nothing more for you. Like, good job. Like you've learned.
Yeah.
Sorry to go off, but
no, that was great. I think to that point, that's what makes Will so scared is, unlike his buddies, Will knows he has something greater to offer, and he's so afraid to take that leap. His buddies know, I'm going to work construction, I'm going to knock down buildings. So they're super confident in who they are. They don't have to posture. They'll get in a fight just for fun. It's not about like that kid picked on me in middle school. No, it's like, this is who I am. I know exactly where I'm going to be. But Will, the reason he's even more afraid is because he knows he has something to offer. And that is the most terrifying thing a person can realize is like, oh, I'm not doing enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really unique. I love that you said that, Seb, because through that experience for him, I mean, I think he comes out of it so much better. I mean, you can see these little points as he's progressing through this timeline, and you just see, even behind Matt Damon's eyes, you can just see this recognition of transformation and that participation of it. I know I keep going back to that, but I don't know. I think the biggest thing with mental health is your own participation, if we're speaking directly to men's mental health, because to your point, Travis, of teaching, of just like, hey, I'm here to give this to you guys. A student has to be curious, just as the great Ted Lasso says, stay curious, because in that scene of reference, he dupes whoever that owner is, and it's like, yeah, you never asked if I was good at darts, and then proceeds to just freaking mop the floor with him in darts. And it's moments like that where you see wisdom and emotional intelligence really come through, because I'm sure Ted the whole time was just like, yeah, I'm laying my trap right here. It's going to feel great. And that is Robin Williams in this. He is calling the shots from miles away because he lived it too. And I think that's the greatest lesson in all of this, is that, like you were saying, there's community. Reach out. Right. And it doesn't even have to be another dude. Reach out to freaking anyone. And just through that communication, I think there's a lot of solace there. And I think that's what Will finds, because as he adventured out, he realized what he wanted and what he didn't.
I think one of my favorite mantras from the classical education sphere speaks to this, and it's when I was first starting to kind of get educated in how to be a classical teacher, quote unquote, we were told, like, you're not a knowledge transmission to empty vessels, like, and that's kind of the way we view a lot of curricular models. It's just like, I'm going to download this information into you so that you can become another tax-paying citizen of society. It's like, you're not doing that. What you're doing is you're like walking into a group of a bunch of people who are looking everywhere because they're teenagers and their attention spans are stunted. And you're gazing at a beautiful mountain, and your job is to just try and get them to turn their heads and look with you and be like, oh, like,
cool.
That's amazing. And like, so that's my subject material, is the mountain. Like, I love literature, theology, and all of that. And like, I'm just trying to get them to turn and look. And I think that's what Robin does with specifically Skylar, like in his right. Was that her name? Yeah. Because the experience he has, that, like you say, Kent, corrected him from this life that he knows Will's living, was marriage. And like, marriage is the mountain, and he's sitting there next to Will, and he's like, I have to do everything in my power to bait Will into this trap to look towards the mountain that is relationship with the woman he loves, because it will be the most life-changing experience he'll ever have. And like, I think that's the job he accomplishes at the end. And I think that's a really beautiful part about the movie, is like, ultimately the mountain isn't success and using his talent, even though that's all part of it. The mountain is, what you're really losing is relationship with that person who loves you. Don't let that go.
Yeah.
Had to go see about a girl.
Yeah. He didn't go to the game.
Yeah.
He used my line.
Fun fact. That was like take 17, and Robin Williams finally improvised that line. He pulled out. He's like, "Some bitch stole my line."
Oh, so good.
Nice.
It's great stuff. Yeah. Our deepest fear is not that we're inadequate.
Yeah.
Deepest fear is that we actually have potential.
Yeah.
In all things.
Anything else, Kent?
Yeah, I'd say that's where I'd put it. I feel good about that. I mean, as we discussed, it's about reaching out, giving in, and having some fun along the way.
Zeb, you were the questionnaire. Do you have any more deep dive questions you want?
No. I think we covered it, and we sufficiently talked about one of my favorite movies of all time. So I'm happy.
Up there with me too. My top 5 is constantly rotating. My 1 is a fixed position, never moves. But 4, 2 through 4 or 2 through 5, constantly kind of. And Good Will Hunting is always in there and battling for one of those positions.
Yours is let's see if I can remember this. It's No Country for Old Men. That's number 1. Yeah,
that's number 1.
Yeah.
And every time I start to stray away sometimes and think like maybe it's not my number 1 anymore. I rewatch it and I'm like, no, this movie is perfection. Like absolute perfection, masterpiece of masterpieces. Speaking of possibly an instant classic, very controversial film today. Kent, you wrote another article for us. You had the double header of the month, and you wrote about recent Oscar nomination, new Paul Thomas Anderson film, very, very revered director, and again, controversial, one battle after another. I just love to hear your raw thoughts, no question first, about the specific article. On the one question outside of it is, why do you think this movie is so controversial?
Well, it's
tiptoeing into deep waters, so don't. Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, we'll glide, we'll grace, because I'm not here to provide a position. Honestly, I mean, this is movies. I mean, sure, we can talk about current events, but there's other pods for that where. Ultimately, I think it's controversial in its own right and its own presentation, and it's rather inherent presentation because it addresses the elephant. And that's what is controversial nowadays. And it also, it doesn't like, what would be a good example? Let's say the new Superman. That hits it a little bit more on the head, but even in previous movies where they kind of just lightly touch these things in terms of it being a metaphor, one battle after another goes, oh yeah, here's Sean Penn. He's a neo-Nazi. Here. Like, that is as pointing as it gets. I mean, you want to talk about the mountain analogy? There was no, oh, come over here. Look, it was swivel there. First 5.
yeah, which is necessary sometimes,
right?
Yeah, and I think like one thing I'm gonna disagree with your assessment of this movie in one point, and I will have a little maybe debate here. Okay. But one thing I really, really love is that you talk about the title being so important because it's this weight of like anger and fear and anger and fear and anger and fear. And like generationally, it's focused in, and I'd just love to hear more of your thoughts on that, because I think that's a beautiful part of what you wrote. Is these kinds of traumatic experiences that happen to people breed this constant, just like pressing anxiety that can travel across time, essentially.
Yeah, where to take that point off and riff, not to summarize here, it's all about perspective. And when you're in an environment like that, I don't know, think about it this way. It's you wake up and God, it is cold. You are freezing. You wake up, let's say you got a little glass half empty. You're like, okay, I'm pissed that it's cold. God, I gotta go to work now. Oh my God, I have to get out of the blankets and close the window. But maybe you got a glass half full and you realize, hey, I got a blanket right next to me that's folded up. Hey, I'm going to throw that extra blanket on me and I'm going to warm up before I take the little mad dash to close the window. And I say that metaphor because when you're quite literally in one battle after another, it gets really hard to look at situations like that and realize you got an extra blanket, or I got this, I got that. Because I think what makes this movie the most controversial is it does highlight certain aspects of how trudging all this is and how difficult even just watching the movie, just to see just going and fighting this institution. And so many people see that. So many people are weighed down from just absorbing this information. And through that absorption, people will eventually go, well, God dang it, why is it cold in the room? And that'll just echo. And I think when you're fighting for something that essential, it's not like you're fighting over a candy bar. I mean, this is like racism, and this is it's essential issues. So to be always in an environment like that and to constantly be experiencing those things, I mean, it'll weigh anyone down. It'll get the best of the best, even freaking, yeah. I'll stop my ramble there.
Even Leonardo DiCaprio, man. It'll weigh him down.
Right. Yep. Exactly. Yeah.
It's like combat fatigue. Like you're just so entrenched in so many flashpoints, you become just numb to. You become numb, and you also just feel stuck. Yeah. In something that you have no power over, which can just be the most disheartening feeling ever.
Yeah.
But I want to hear Travis's anti.
Yeah.
It's a little anti. It's not anti the article. I have one glaring problem with this otherwise gorgeous film.
Yeah.
And it is, like, I can't deny it. Some people are going out there saying, who agree with the problem that I have, but they're taking that problem and saying, like, it's a bad movie. And I'm like, it's not a bad movie. Like, like you're blind if you think this is a bad movie. It's a very, very well-made movie. But I hate the ending. I hate it. And I think the reason I hate it is because, and this is related to your article, one of your subtitles is "No Heroes, No Villains, Just Us." But I kind of thought the movie wanted us to like Perfidia, and she's a terrible person. Like I'm sorry if people disagree with me. Maybe the revolution she was part of has merit, but like she seems obsessed with sex, sleeps around, like cheats on her current boyfriend with a literal neo-Nazi. Yes, she's kind of like swayed into it, but it's weird. It's a weird situation. Gets pregnant, has a child, abandons her child, abandons her like baby daddy, turns her friends in, like turncoats and turns her friends in, then runs away. And then the movie ends. This is what pissed me off, with like 16 years later, she's never come back. She's never really written. She's never done anything to like try and contact these people to apologize to, like, no redemption. And we read this letter that she wrote to her daughter, and all of a sudden it's like her daughter becomes the same revolutionary because she's inspired by her mom. And I'm like, she was not a good person. There was nothing pointing to her that being a deserving ending for the character of Perfidia. And it just put a damper on the whole thing. And I'm sure there was a purpose to it, but I didn't see it, because what I saw coming instead, where I thought it was going, was Leo and the daughter see this theme of like constant stressful, just oppression of feeling, and decide like, hey, we have to like build a home. But instead it's like, oh, I read this letter from my kind of piece of crap mom, and all of a sudden I want to be her. And that did not seem earned to me. But I can see that maybe there's a point like with the trauma kind of triggering that in her. But I don't know. What do you guys think? That was just my one rant I wanted to do of one battle after another. I hate that ending.
Dude, I am so with you. I know I wrote kind of in a very general sense, but yeah, that was a glaring flaw for me. But honestly, I saw it as, this is an unfortunate result. But I get what you're saying, and I agree that was their intention. Where, yeah, I didn't like that. Okay, we went through all this, and now just because deadbeat mom, who also has deadbeat dad. I mean, I know Leo stepped up, but dude, that guy's just smoking pot and screwing off with the teachers. I mean, he's no greater either. And it's like, yes, you could have your intentions. You could go into this situation wanting whatever you want, but it's so naive to think that. Also, I know it's moms. Moms are important, don't get me wrong, especially one that you haven't had contact with your entire life. But to say that trumps all of the events, where my favorite scene, yes, the car coming up, I just thought the fact that she stopped the car and got out, that was so BA. Like I thought that was such a cool scene. And you see just in general this growth in her, and she becomes a revolutionary on her own. I don't think, in my opinion,
it's because of the mom.
I hope not. I hope not, because yeah, I think she sucks. I think she does. I think you're right. I think she's a nymphomaniac, and she left her daughter with a man who wasn't even the father that she was just screwing around with too. Like, I know she's running away from her trauma, because that's the whole point of it all. The longing, look over the shoulder, I think she's in a street when they do that flashback, as she's like walking away and they never saw her again. And it's romanticizing blaming your trauma.
I did think Regina Hall offered kind of a foil to her, Deandra, as like an actual sort of mother figure, because like her whole thing is, as soon as she sees the daughter is in the game, she's like, dear God, why? Like, this is terrible. And I thought that was a good balance to Perfidia's character. But it just wasn't enough for me, because it just felt, for some reason, and maybe I got to rewatch it and I missed something, but for some reason it felt to me like the writing was like, see, she wasn't all that bad. And I'm like, you have provided zero evidence to support that claim.
I don't think you missed anything. I got to the ending and I thought, why, after all the events that you just went through, would you put yourself back in harm's way? Like, you're on a watch list. Why would you continue this debacle? Also, the thing that actually, like, the ending didn't draw me out of the movie as much as having to like suspend the disbelief that this revolutionary organization still had functioning passwords and code words and like people still working it. Dude, anybody that knows history knows those revolutions end in like 13 business days.
I did love that though, dude. Of like, I love the humor they throw at both. Like, they very critically look at the one side, like the neo-Nazi side, and like clearly the more critical lens is turned towards that. I don't think this movie is a middle line movie. I think it takes a side. But I do love that they poke fun at the revolutionaries, and like the phone call scene with Leo at the phone booth is hysterical. Like that guy just being a moron.
Fucking liberals.
So funny. I love that.
Right. It's so petty terminology. It's like, dude, I'm one of your Frenchmen. Let me through. What's the password? Sorry, this is an invasion. Like, God damn it. Like,
I couldn't believe for a second that they still had the same functioning landline. In today's era of like wiretaps and stuff, you're telling me that's like the one, and it stayed clean for 20 years. Like they didn't get a hold of it in 20 years. But then in like 3 days, they took down the whole organization and then killed a bunch of nuns. No. Yeah.
But
it
back,
me.
I do want to go back to your article. Your first subtitle was A Changing Lens. And I just want to talk about this because, like, again, not to get into too deep of waters, but like you said, it feels different. So did you watch it once before and like you had rewatched it, or was this your first time watching it was after this tumultuous month we've had?
Yeah. Well, it was, I watched it twice. Yeah.
Okay.
Where I had watched it first. I forget when it came out. And when I watched, I know it was last year. But more or less, yeah, I think it hits the head very well. I think it identifies that this issue isn't everyone, and everyone's got a part to play, where I think it shows, especially keeping current events in mind, it shows an entire communal response. Another movie similar in that regard I would put is Civil War, and more of a fear-mongering dystopian setting, but it's very real. And I think it also, that movie, shout out to Civil War, I think it has one of the greatest quotes, especially for right now. And it's, I forget his name, but he's got the pink sunglasses and the long rifle on his arm, and he's like, oh, what kind of American?
Yeah, Jesse Plemons is the actor.
Thank you. Yeah. Like, this is exactly that. It is division, and it also is what's a good word here? Dysfunction.
Yeah.
Because most big things, you involve over 100 people in anything, there's going to be dysfunction. There is going to be insanity. And that's what our current events are, is dysfunction. Because even though you've got a main protagonist who's great in certain ways, he's not so great in others. And he is complicated. He is multi-leveled. So, and I think that's what this situation is. And seeing it again, and seeing it now, having experienced some of the funness, it really does change that lens.
Yeah. I think it definitely will have a different kind of vibe to it when I revisit it. And I'm both excited and nervous to do so. But I think it's a hard movie. And I think one of the parts that the last thing I'd really like to talk about, unless you have more, Kent, obviously, was that the movie has all of Paul Thomas Anderson's movies, I think, do the beautiful thing of like, they look so real in a actual physical sense, which I talked about this yesterday on a Fermented Fiction episode of like, there's something about the like beautiful model sheen being wiped off that I just find so compelling and so like inviting to the viewer of like, Leo does not look pretty at any point in this movie. None of the people really look like they're dolled up and like made to, they look like people. They look like real people. The houses look very realistic and drab and down, like kind of gross. Like the pothead house, I was like, I've been in that house. I know that guy.
Running around in the robe. Thank you, Sensei.
Yeah, and like
Out to the villas.
I think everything about Paul Thomas Anderson, the way he films, is like he's not afraid to look away from the sweat and the grime and the sort of realistic sheen of, you know, imperfections that we as humans collect.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think it'd be really hard to, I don't know, you got Megan Fox in there and you want to show her suffering and convey that point of how hard it is to live through one battle after another while you've got just star-studded twinkle eyes Megan Fox going like, oh, this hurts. And everyone is going to be like, wait, what was the movie about? Yeah, she was hot. I love that. This doesn't work if you make it Hollywood.
No.
At all. I mean, any of the current stars. I don't even think Timothée Chalamet could fit in there.
I don't know. He's not clean in Marty. No, he's a pretty grimy little dude in Marty Supreme. He's always sweating.
That movie.
I think he could pull it off.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll concede. You know what? Yeah. He'll fit in.
Timothy Chalamet, I hope he gets a Paul Thomas Anderson gig. That would be amazing. I can't wait for that day.
Yeah, that would.
Zeb, any last thoughts on One Battle After Another?
No. Actually, yes. This felt like much more of like a very personal essay. I just want to know, quick question, what was your actual rating of the film?
Yeah, I would give it, and I like to stay pretty solid with my ratings, where as much as I want to give it a 5 out of 5, that's only reserved for a couple few. So I would say a stellar movie like Frankenstein. I can't remember what I gave it when I wrote the article, but I'd give it a solid 4.5. Okay. And in reference to that and my scaling, I would put One Battle After Another at a generous 4.2.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, we're getting into the decimals. Very nice.
Nice. I like the decimals. I like them. Zeb, you graced us with 2 articles in our subsection that we title Only the Good, which is exactly what it sounds like. Articles about movies that we love and things that we maybe don't write about that fit the theme, but we think really deserve a spot at the top of like, go watch this. It's amazing. Just generally, you want to tell us a little bit about, so you wrote Only the Good, war documentaries, and Only the Good, Ingress. So war documentaries, what inspired that one? What are you proud about with it?
Oh, man. So I had a lot of fun with this one because in addition to just loving movies, I also love documentaries, and I'm a big lover of history. So there's a period of time where Netflix released 3 different documentaries back to back. They were all under the main phrase Turning Point. So it was like Turning Point Vietnam and the Vietnam, Turning Point the Cold War and the nuclear bomb.
Fantastic.
And then Turning Point 9/11 and the War on Terror. All, I think, fantastic, very consumable documentaries as opposed to like something crazy dry. Like who's that PBS documentarian that does like
Ken Burns.
These aren't 8-hour Ken Burns documentaries, with all due respect to Ken Burns. But recently, what like really inspired this article was a new Netflix documentary called Cover Up, which in very brief synopsis, this is about the Pulitzer Prize winning journalist Seymour Hersh, who wrote for several major publications and then moved on to his own, and interestingly now currently writes for Substack. But he himself reported on the Abu Ghraib prison, which was a horrendous prison where U.S. soldiers were just doing the most heinous shit to people. He reported on the My Lai massacre, where up to like 1,000 people were just gunned down, like men, women, and children just gunned down. And he has covered so many things in between, from indiscriminate carpet bombing campaigns to like deep cover assassinations. So the documentary itself really touches on his life and how he somehow both stumbled into and just got lucky covering these stories. But really, to me, what was more pressing of an issue, why I wanted to write about it, was because these cover-ups existed. Like, if this is going to be a controversial take, but if the people in power were to just tell us like, hey, we absolutely just killed a bunch of civilians, I would maintain my respect a little bit more than them trying to immediately brush it under the rug and deny it. Because that assumes that you think I'm stupid enough to believe you at face value. And that bothered me. So that's why I really liked this stuff about what Philip Seymour Hersh Seymour Hersh, sorry.
Not Philip Seymour Hersh.
Seymour Hersh, what he really was part of. So basically after that, I went into a deep dive in a lot of other documentaries that I think are great, and why I think watching documentaries, especially war documentaries, are so important is because if you don't know your history, you are bound to repeat it, especially in recent years. I think there have been repeat events that have mirrored things that have happened in the past, and people seem to be surprised when they happened.
Yeah, I think that was a really important part that hit home to me, because it's a conversation I've had in a lot of circles, not to give anyone any indication of my personal views, but like I keep hearing this word unprecedented. And I'm like, no,
unprecedented times.
Like if you like, it's precedented. This is how it happened before. And yeah, again, not going to tell you what I think about it, but I don't think I loved that your article is like, no, it's happened. Like these things are repeating and we have to be paying attention. And I don't even mean, like, I mean in recent history, like American history. This isn't like me doing the standard, oh yeah, it's all like World War II. It's like, no, it's not all World War II. It's like Teddy Roosevelt. Like this stuff has happened under presidents of the United States, and go study it and see how it worked out there.
Oh yeah.
A lot of times it wasn't good. Like, we'll see.
Oh yeah. I mean, shoot, Nuremberg. I mean, it was told that, rather from their side, that, hey, we studied Jim Crow laws. We studied this, we studied that. I mean, it repeats itself from so many different angles. And I don't mean that in a very general sense. And that's as far as I'll dive into that.
I am curious, Zeb, what you think about, like, and hopefully we are a review show, but you know, this is a deep topic, and I have to ask, what do you think about, we've had a loss of, do you think the loss of trust in media in general is going to affect how people consume documentaries? I think is the best way I can put that question.
That's a good point.
Because it's hard for me personally to
trust documentaries, to
view like a nonfiction movie and not want to be like, I have to go research all of this on my own. And like, not that I'm like that, I know that's a prideful thing and I have to brush it aside, but it's my gut jerk reaction of like, I've been lied to before and you're telling me some crazy things and I don't want to be lied to about them again and be like in the classroom spouting out this stuff and all of a sudden it turns out I was wrong, you know.
Sure. let me play devil's advocate then, because that I think is a great example. Let's say, for the sake of argument, that everything I referenced in these documentaries is completely erroneous, completely false. Then at the very least, some percentage of people will go actually look it up, right?
That's a good point.
So if even if it's wrong, it might still result in a net positive of people like you doing some more digging, right? To me, and I think I kind of touch on this in like the very last paragraph. These documentaries aren't supposed to make you cynical. They're supposed to make you keep questioning what you actually see. So if you take the documentary at face value, then you should be questioning everything you see on a day-to-day basis, because you get a little bit of that pattern recognition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think I love that. And I think to combine it with an earlier theme of like, I think all of these things, if I could urge, again, we're a review show, but we're getting deep. If I could urge anybody, like something that's changed my life is like, yes, have the like view of I need to question a lot of things and do like dig into the really good scholarly work, but at the same time, be in community. Like test your ideas against other people and like have relationships with people who disagree with you has been one of the most helpful things of my entire life, of just being able to have a good relationship and good friendship with someone who's like gonna either call me on my BS or bring forth an idea that I'm like, hold up. Like, you believe that? Like, I don't know about that. And have a conversation about it. But I don't know. Do you guys agree about? I think those two things need to blend.
Well, I think it kind of ties pretty well into what we were saying about Good Will Hunting. Like
that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
The flaw is that one of his major flaws is that he was just satiated. He was comfortable where he was at because very few people in his inner circle were questioning him, and he should have, and eventually did, move circles to where he got more pushback.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think it's really important. Number one, to question, and number two, to be surrounded by people in your immediate vicinity that question you too. Because otherwise you end up with what social media has become. If your friends are just an echo chamber that you just shout into, it's no better than social media, which is just an echo chamber. It's a void. It's a black pit of like reaffirming your own beliefs instead of asking yourself, hey, what does security really mean? What does freedom really mean? Like, I've heard these terms thrown around. What's going on? You know, like just that question alone, I don't think gets enough people like introspectively asking. And that's why I like war documentaries.
Yeah.
Because everybody says like, no, I would stand up for what's right. And then
would you?
For the people in the moment, you know, it's like, well, I kind of like what's going. I kind of like, you know, the security, the comfort. Like Kent, you brought up Nuremberg, and one of my favorite clips from that movie with Russell Crowe is asked by an American lawyer. He's like, how could you have fallen for this? And Goering goes, because he made me feel German again. And it was like, that was all it took. That was all it took. And people were like, no, we're good. Don't ask questions. Anyway, watch your war documentaries, people.
Yeah. Zeb, I agree with you full-heartedly, where I think our media literacy as a generation is really compromised right now. And it's the day and age of, if you want to use a fun buzzword that I love throwing around, weaponized incompetence. I think there's so many people, just like good old Will, who are used to the way the things are. You go to get your groceries, you go get your fuel, you live in a nice warm house. And not to sound dramatic, but in other places, even first world countries, that very aspect is always, and sometimes, or even rarely, under siege, but it's still called into question. And in moments like that, you get critical thinking from your environment. You have to do it. Just like Will, he was forced in that position. It was sink or swim. And that's what he wanted to avoid the whole time, because who doesn't like the underdog? Yeah, I'm smart, but I'm going to do construction. And in that breath, we stick to just scrolling through social media, and all of a sudden, buzzword here, buzzword there, article here. And
it's exhausting. It's one battle after another.
It sure freaking is, because yeah, oh yeah, I like it because it's exactly as you said. It's one battle after another, and it's cyclical, and it's draining, and everyone has gotten to the point that they just like the little shorts. We've lost long form media,
and that's why people like Travis, who are dealing with teens on the edge of turning 17, are so important, especially from Travis's like classical background. Like, teaching critical thinking, common sense is no longer common.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Absolutely.
At the risk of being complimented anymore, which I hate, let's talk about. Tell me about Ingress.
Good. Very good. Yeah. So when I say we, the fermented fiction umbrella, the fermented fiction family, recently did an episode with the amazing actress and director Rachel Noel James, and I was fortunate enough to be on a movie debate with her for the 2 Moana films.
Nice.
So we spent 2 hours debating the Moana movies, and then I went.
Give yourself even more credit, Zeb. You stepped into the ring a week with only a week's advance because I double booked myself and couldn't make it. So Zeb saved my butt.
I'm gonna let you in on a little secret.
What?
Don't tell Clay.
Oh no.
I don't have Disney Plus. I did not watch the second Moana.
Buddy. We've all done that.
I read the synopsis I could get my hands on, like in preparation for either side of the argument. Anyway, not important. Don't tell Clay. Not important. So in talking with Rachel, we gave her the opportunity to kind of explain some of her films. One of them is Ingress, and she really sold it for me. And I said, hey, I would love to cover this. So I went and watched it. Boys, let me tell you, for an indie film, that was a really good movie. I actually quite enjoyed it. There were definitely hints of other like major movies in it. Like it had themes similar to Arrival. It had themes similar to Inception. Like, it was a very mind-bending, reality-shifting film. But at the core of it was, what is it like to grieve, and what is it like to lose someone that you love, and is it okay to love again? So I wrote the article about the film, and I kind of touched on all those points. And I think Rachel quite liked the article. So
good.
Okay. Well, everything, everywhere, all at once type deal.
Kind of like, cool. Yeah. So the film, I don't want to give too much away because I think you should watch it. It's also filmed on Bainbridge Island, which is an island just off the coast of the Seattle Bay. Gorgeous island. So some of the cinematography is fantastic.
Cool.
Yeah, it was quite nice. So I don't know where I was going with that, but yeah, the to not give too much away.
Shout out Ingress.
The main character is played by Rachel. She loses her husband, but she has this weird ability to kind of dimension shift. So she shifts dimensions into realities where her husband's still alive. She shifts to reality where she's in love with somebody else, to one where her parents are still alive, and it all interplays. And by the time you get to the end, you don't actually know which reality she's in. You just know that she's happy. And you kind of have to ask, like, does that matter? Does that matter which reality she's in? You know,
as long as she's happy.
As long as she's happy, right? So anyway, go watch it. It was really fun to write that article.
I'm excited to watch that one.
Yeah.
Once again, thanks for being what is it called in baseball?
Pinch hitter.
Pinch hitter. Thanks for being a pinch hitter for Fermented Fiction. Permanent pinch hitter is Zeb Boos.
Yeah.
He's always our guy that will step in and debate anything, and we appreciate it over at our other show. So real quick, just to advertise it, we are part now of the Fermented Fiction umbrella, which includes this show, Meathead Media, our articles, as well as Under the Rain Shadow, which my brother hosts. It's a literary critique workshop show, so maybe a little more insider for some of y'all, but it's really valuable. It's and just earnest. Like my brother's going out there and exposing like this process that I think a lot of writers like to maybe deny or hide. Like, oh yeah, we just write perfect things every time. He's like on a monthly basis being like, yeah, I screwed up and I had to edit this, and let's talk about why my story maybe isn't glittering golden yet. And that's really beautiful. He and his co-host Tamara do that. And then the show that started the whole umbrella is Fermented Fiction. My brother and I started it back in 2021 under a different name, which was
Sinister Soup.
And it was kind of a COVID project, but it's developed into something really cool. If you want to see some of your possibly favorite horror authors and different creators on the show, we've had some big names on there. Come check us out. We just interview them and vibe. We like to vibe. All right. With that, I want to end the show on a triple question for all of us. What have you recently watched that you really like? What are you planning to watch very soon that you're ready for? And what are you excited to watch in the future? We'll start with you, Kent.
Yeah. I would say one that I just watched that was really fun. It was a rewatch for me, and it was Alien Prometheus. And it is such a great movie. And I think it's totally the Rogue One of the Alien series. It's a great standalone, but also canon and great watch. What I'm really excited to watch, where I've already started portion of it, where I've had the holdovers on my list for quite a while, and I just keep forgetting and I keep pushing it off. And I watched part of it last night, and then I started getting sleepy, and I hit the perfect point. I was like, you know what? I'm going to put on a comfort show, go to bed, where I just paused it right after the rest of the kids, the rest of the holdovers flew away into the sunset on the helicopter.
Okay. Good point. Good point to stop. And then what are you excited for in the future?
Yeah, I'm excited, honestly, for the new Robert Eggers. What is it? I know it's a fun pronunciation.
Werewolf.
Yeah, Werewolf.
Werewolf.
Yeah, I think it's great.
I'm so pumped for the first trailer. It's gonna be great. It's Robert. It's
yeah. And after Nosferatu, I mean, dude's just been climbing rungs. He's killing it.
He's awesome. Zeb, what about you? What have you recently watched? Are you going to watch soon? And are you excited to watch in the future?
Okay. I'm ready for this one because I'm going to turn you guys on to another foreign film.
Okay.
It's originally a German film. It's currently available on Amazon Prime. It's called The Tank, but in German, Der Tiger.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah.
It's good. It's really good. It starts as a war movie. It doesn't end as a war movie.
Okay.
It was fun to watch, man. Just buckle up. That's all I can say. It's so good.
You said Prime?
Amazon Prime. It's really good. All right, so that was recently. Up next, I want to try to find, if it's still in theaters, I want to go watch 28 Years Later, Bone Temple.
I watched it. Excited to hear your thoughts. Worth it? Yes, it is a bonkers movie, and I don't know what I think about it yet.
All right. Okay.
It is a wild ride.
Better or worse than the first glance?
I literally can't say. Like, it's a wild ride. I don't know. I have to watch it again. I don't know what I think about it. There are a lot of decisions that were made that are it's in a world plagued by unoriginal ideas. Bone Temple took some swings.
Cool.
Sweet. Okay. I'm looking forward to it. And then for 2026, I got to go with my boy Christopher Nolan. I'm so excited to see The Odyssey.
Yeah,
I know that's pretty vanilla, but yeah, man,
I'm with you.
It's the classic. It's like saying I love Indiana Jones.
I won't repeat
Who
it.
doesn't hate Indiana Jones?
I mean,
Yeah,
I meant
that would have been mine, but
I meant vanilla in the sense that like I think a lot of people are excited to see that. You know, like
I think it's one of the most anticipated films of the year.
I could have said I'm excited to see Andy Weir's adaptation of Hail Mary with Project Hail
Ryan
Mary
Gosling.
with Ryan Gosling.
Oh, Ryan Gosling.
That's gonna be sweet. I'm reading the book right now in preparation.
Does it have the traction of The Odyssey by Christopher Nolan?
No. My three, I recently have been rewatching Band of Brothers with my wife, and she's never seen it.
Which one?
The series, all of it, the first series.
What are you on the first?
Yeah, we're on the 5th episode of the series, the miniseries. And yeah, I'm gonna write an Only the Good article about it next month, so look forward to that, people. Coming up, I really want to make it to the theater, and weirdly enough, I kind of want to go see The Housemaid. My parents actually said it was kind of fun, not good, but fun. And you know what? I'm down. I'll go sit in the theater and watch that and see how it is. And then most anticipated would have been The Odyssey, but I'm not going to repeat. I'm actually curious. I'm not excited. I'm curious about Avengers Doomsday.
Ooh, yeah.
I don't know. I don't know how it'll work, but we'll see. Yeah. Well, gents, thank you for joining me on our show. I don't know why I said me. Thanks everybody for joining us on Meathead Media. We are a group effort here. I know I hosted, but Kent, Zeb, and I write weekly Substack articles centered around themes. Our next theme for February is going to be Dash of Romance, and Kent's going to kick us off. And I will have an Only the Good article. We also might be bringing a new guest author in. We'll see. Right, Zeb?
Oh, that's right. Yeah, we might be doing a dual horror review with another Substack author.
Okay. Yeah. So be excited for some developments. We might be adding a 4th member to the team, possibly. We're going to test trial your brother, right? See if he can hold up.
If he finally texts me back, maybe. Otherwise,
okay. Yeah. Well, a lot of exciting stuff happening. We're brand new. We love everybody who joined, and hopefully you go check out Fermented Fiction and Under the Rain Shadow. We've been Meathead Media. We appreciate everybody. Goodbye.